This is not the Che Tom Show. This is only Tom Show. We are Tom Show. But I have Che here, you know. Hey, everybody,
What
it's
is up,
Tom.
Tom?
It's Che, my best buddy. And when I say he's my best buddy, I literally mean that. Um, the friendship that Che and I developed over this past year has made him the most important friend I have in my life right now. And he doesn't have to say the same for me because it doesn't need to be the same. People don't need to reciprocate that level of entitlement for friendships with me. Just because you're my best friend doesn't mean I need to be your best friend. But hey, Jay, I love you. I'm so excited to see you.
Man, I love you too, Tom. It's been way too long,
It
and
has been way too long.
I'm that kind of guy that I don't have a lot of friends, but the friends I have are quality. So I've got a couple lifelong best friends
Yeah.
that you know they've been there for me for going on 3 decades. But I will say you are one of the most important people in my life. 2021, when I look back on it, man, the fact that you and I came together, met on Twitter
Yeah.
over Top Shot. I got a Bobon on Top Shot today. I was so excited. Um, I was just as happy as if I'd pulled a Lamelo. I love Bobon. No, but we met through Ivan. You taught me how to buy a Top Shot pack, and since then we've become friends. We talk on the phone. We text. We have a group chat. But it's been way too long, man.
Yeah.
There for a while. We did our fundraiser in May and spent every day. I think that really made us tight when we did that fundraiser for the Jet
Yes.
Foundation in May. Spent every day on the phone, messaging, on video, going over logistics, organizing, things like that. And how fulfilling that was in multiple ways. We raised a lot more money than two goofballs that ever thought they could, who didn't know what we were doing, had no clue. But then out of it sprang what I hope is my third lifelong friendship. So, man, I appreciate you. Love you. Merry Christmas to you and the family. Happy holidays. And thanks for inviting me on to talk tonight. It's been way too long.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I get overwhelmed. I have great ideas and I love to do stuff, but I need a partner and I need someone to keep me on my toes. And we had so much, I got so much stuff to mail out, and I still have so much stuff to mail out hobby wise. And it's just kind of like, man, I get so buried, and then the anxiety with being late on mail came. And so we wanted a break after that fundraiser because it was intense, and it
It
was
was.
like in the best way. Like we raised so much, we did so much, it was crazy. We're like, okay, we're gonna take a little bit of a break. And then I hit a funk, man. And I don't know, I think you had a mini funk, but things on Twitter were not good for me. I had to take Twitter break, and then it was just kind of like, um, I don't want to talk about cards that much. And then we kind of got energized and we're talking again. And then we're like, and we got a graphic made of me and you being Jay and Silent Bob for the Tom Shea show. And I love it. And we
Yeah.
just haven't had time, because you're working a lot and I'm working a lot. I got my DoorDash job. So nights
Yeah.
are limited to what I can do. And you've been busy on nights. And we keep talking about how we need to get together. And finally, I'm just so happy.
Yeah.
I'm like a little kid. I'm just so happy.
Well,
Like
man.
that video of those kids running up to each other and wanting to hug
Oh,
the
yeah.
sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel right
Too bad you're in Denver and I'm in Kentucky. We can't recreate that. But
now. Yeah.
no, I'll tell you. I mean, everything you just said is true. I will add that I think after we started our Tom Chase show and we were going every other week, that kind of sprang out of you filling in for Chris on his show
Yeah.
on Monday night.
Hmm.
And then we decided we would run with it. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. I mean, I really did. But you talk about getting in that funk after the fundraiser. I did too. I mean, I want to take a step back and to kind of remove myself from social media, from obligations, from feeling like I had to, you know, always be on. But I think my biggest thing was why our show that we were doing on Monday stopped is I always felt like it was this is not a card related show, but both of us have hobby related accounts and all of
Yeah.
our followers are hobby related. And so I thought the show needed to be about the hobby. And dude, I didn't want to talk about the hobby. I wasn't buying cards. Um, I kind of got priced out, honestly. I mean, I still bought my tops. I'm always going to buy a Stadium Club, always going to buy a Series 1, Series 2, until 2025, I'm always going to buy a Stadium Club. I'm always going to buy a Series 1, Series 2, update, Tops Chrome, and that's all I've bought this year. So I wait till the next Tops release comes out, and I go get hobby box or two. I don't even look for retail anymore. It's worthless. So I open boxes once every 6 weeks or so. I open a box or two, and I haven't had any hobby related content to share. So maybe we can get a little subgroup that likes to. I listen to a radio show here in Kentucky, KSR, Kentucky Sports Radio, and it's titled Kentucky Sports Radio. And they catch a lot of grief from the diehard, old school, get off my lawn guys, because they have a 2-hour show every day, and they might spend 15 minutes on Kentucky sports.
Yeah,
and the rest of it is on life. It's about life, and it's the best, most entertaining show. So maybe I need to get over that hump of thinking we have to talk about the hobby. If people don't want to watch, they won't watch. But I hated that it kept me from talking to my friend because I felt like I didn't have any hobby related content. When actually we'd probably have a much more. I don't know if we'll be entertaining ever, but we'll probably have a much more interesting show if we just talked about shit that was going on in our lives and not worry about having to be hobby influencers or say the right thing about the hobby. I just want to talk to you, man. And if we happen to talk about cards, we talk about cards. But
yeah, this is a hobby show, but I'm talking about the people and learning about the people in the hobby. The point, and we've got some comments. Kelly, he says hi, great to see us, and he's working, but he's listening to us both, and he misses us both. Your buddy
Kelly's
Chad said, good to see both the two of us at it again. Chad is a great guy. He's your best buddy growing up.
That's one of my lifelong best friends. Freshman year at college, Hagen Hall, UK. He lived 2 doors down from me, and we met first day we moved in, and he's my brother. He's my brother. So
yeah, he's a psycho teach or something on Twitter.
He's a real weirdo. He teaches psychology, criminal psych in high school. Definitely weird dude.
Fascinating.
But so his Twitter handle is Psycho MC Teach.
There we go.
School he teaches at, the initials are MC, so he's Psychology MC Teach. He's an OG in the hobby, man. He used to set up at card shows in the 80s as a teenager. He would get a table every weekend at a card show and set them up. He's got a hell of a collection. I went up there one day this summer, and we pulled out stuff from his childhood. And he's old. I mean, he's pushing 70 years. No, he's not 70. He's older than me. But he's got a lot of old vintage 60s and 70s stuff. And man, we had the best time. He went to a garage sale sometime over the summer, and this dude had one of those big Tupperware type. I say Tupperware, that also ages me. Rubbermaid, one of the big Rubbermaid totes full of unopened 80s junk wax. I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of rack packs.
I bet
sealed
that was
boxes.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, he bought that, and I went up. We spent 2 days just sorting through it and opening them pack by pack. And he says I'm old like my cards. But then we went through some of his old stuff, and he's got some beautiful cards. And it took us. We used to do that. I say it took me back to my childhood. I mean, he and I weren't childhood friends, but in college we were still big into cards. So it took me back to then, and kind of reminded me of when I was a kid opening cards for fun. I mean, we were opening 88 Donruss, 93 tops, 87 tops. We had some 91 upper deck. We were not going to be pulling cards that were worth anything. We were opening for the pure joy of opening those cards. And man, what a weekend we had. Yeah.
You're doing it with someone, that's what's fun to me. And I think I've explained this, that the best thing and what I miss most is opening a hobby box with my brother. We'd pull it in and just split it half and just take turns together opening it. So having just someone opening it, even if it's like junk wax, is just so much fun
Yeah.
for me. And funny story about him, because I remember you're like, hey, this is my best buddy from college, please follow him. And I followed him, and he did not follow back forever. But I was just like, but that was when it was in the follower count phase, when you really, you were like, wow, I'm almost at whatever 1,200, which is, cool and fun. And I'm not putting anybody down that gets excited for that. Because you still hit milestones and it's cool. But yeah, he didn't follow me back for the longest time, but I was like, he's a good dude, and Jay loves him. And I'm so glad I did, because he is a vintage junk wax, old school card collector, and he's disappointed that Topps is going to lose his license, but he's still going to have all them old cards to open.
He is he has to be. I haven't looked. He's not on the card database, but I would be shocked if there's a collector on the planet that has a bigger O.W. McDowell collection. Like, how I collect J.R. Richard and, Rod Carew and Fergie Jenkins, Eric Davis, just old school from our childhood. He has binders of O.W. McDowell cards.
That's awesome.
But, I'll tell you, I just remembered this. I forgot about it when we spent that whole weekend opening those old packs. Our mutual friend Jen, most people in here know Jen. Her company, and she's director of sales for a company, but she had a client that she had a meeting with one day, and it was Jim Pankovitz's wife. Jim Pankovitz is one of those 80s guys who nobody's ever heard of. He had like 4 different cards ever. But she was messaging just on our group and said, she met Jim Pankovitz's wife, and she actually was looking for some cards. Well, Chad and I spent the whole weekend getting more excited about pulling Jim Pankovitz cards that we could send to Jen than we did anything else. And we found a bunch of them.
That's so fun.
But that's what, that's how we all got into this hobby. I would hope most of us who are the OG hobby guys, was we got into it to hang out with some buddies, rip some wax. Ooh, you got that one? I'll trade you this Bonds for that Canseco, this Wally Joyner for that Tim Salmon.
Salmon. I remember getting so many of his cards and being so
I'll
excited.
give you 2 Bruce Ruffin for that one Billy Joe Robideau. So it's that was what it was like, man. That kind of got me back into liking cards. I never didn't like cards, but that was like pure, man. That was the hobby. That's what it was about. It wasn't spending $400 and then pulling crap and thinking, what did I just do? Dropping $400 on that box. And, I got a pitching prospect from the A's, because I always get pitching prospects for the A's as my autograph, so it was just fun. And that to me, that was just kind of the pureness of the hobby. And I had a lot of fun with that weekend.
Yeah. Obi-Wan Jabroni, he does some art stuff. He's a Braves fan, Dale Murphy fan. He's in the chat. He's going to be my guest on Tuesday. He just popped in and said, good evening, y'all. It's so exciting to talk to you, but these people that keep asking me, like, I'll do your show. It gets me so excited because I love that dude. I love his art. And, and then to see him participating, he said he was going to make NFTs for all the guests, and he made me one, and it was freaking
that's awesome
everywhere. So it's So, and I just wanted to shout out, the people out. If people are chatting, I'm going to just shout them out, because I want to,
absolutely.
Hey, it's so great that people are popping in.
Somebody actually wants to watch. It's awesome.
Yeah. And people have been watching, because they want to see what it is. Why is Tom talking to like TV cards? Was my last guest, and he's a young kid, just like 23, and he collects like we do. He's like, I had cards when I was a kid. And I came back a little bit during the pandemic, but he's like, I'm not flipping. I'm not trying to buy anything to resell. He's like, I'm not a sneaker guy. I'm not a crypto guy. He's like, I want to collect my teams, which are, it was the Giants and like Golden State, Klay Thompson is this big guy. He's like, that's what I want. And people are like, oh, Buster Posey retired, flip your card and you could buy back cheaper later. And he's like, no. I already have the card. Why do I want to sell it and then rebuy it 6 months later when it's cheaper again? He's like, that's I'm collecting. And so it was so refreshing to hear that. And when you were talking about the purity of it and just collecting, it just reminded me of TV Cards last Tuesday, or my last show. And he was just like, yeah, that's me. And so that's why I want to do these shows. To do these shows, it's Tom is bad at connecting with people on a deep level. I am I love you guy, a surface friend. And it's hard for me to really dig deep into someone and get to know them completely. And that's why I want to do this show, so I can get that, but then also share my friends with other people. Like, why do we love Che on Ian Sports Cards? This is why I love him. Watch it, and then, oh yeah, this is why I follow Che. This is why I follow that guy, or I'm gonna follow this guy now because I have a similar interest. So before we just keep right, because this is all that's going to happen. Che's going to talk for like 10 minutes, then I'm going to talk for like 10 minutes. So we're just going to talk about loving each other. I want to hit on you are doing a fundraiser right now, because we had a horrible across the country weather. And last night in Kansas, the wind, fires, and Colorado overturning semis and blowing house parts away. But you're doing a fundraiser. I'll let you tell the story. And if you can tell people where to go if they want to help, because it ends tonight at midnight, because I'll just let you go ahead and tell about it.
Yeah, I'm doing a fundraiser for the next 3 hours and 7 minutes. Really impromptu. And I tell you what, I tweet about it maybe once a day. I don't want to shove it down people's throats. I just wanted to get it out there about once a day, let people know what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. If you don't know me, if you can't tell from my accent or my attire, my clothing,
blue.
I'm from Kentucky. Born and raised, went to the University of Kentucky. Lived here all my life with the exception of 1 year. And there's Jen. I wonder if she was on when we were talking about her. Hopefully she didn't hear the bad stuff we said. No, so I'm from Kentucky. I'm from Central Kentucky, South Central Kentucky, in the Lexington area. And I think everybody knows by now, last Friday night, there were some horrific tornadoes that hit the entire Midwest, but they really did a number on Western Kentucky. So I'm not in Western Kentucky. I'm safe. My family's safe. However, we did have a tornado touchdown about a half a mile from my house. We were sitting watching TV. We were watching the updates. And if you're from the Midwest, or you're from an area that gets the severe storms like that, you can tell throughout the day, okay, tonight I need to pay attention, because it might be a night that I need to pay attention. So we were paying attention a little bit, and news started coming off that Mayfield just got hit and something bad went down. And it was dark and nobody really knew, but you could tell by the radar signatures that, there was debris ball 37,000 feet in the air, which was never been seen before. And just the signature on radar, there was no doubt this was bad, but we didn't know how bad at the time. So usually on nights like that, I don't go to bed, because Mayfield's about 4 hours from me. So when it starts hitting out there, you start watching, and then it'll start hitting Bowling Green. So you're okay, it's getting close. Well, tornado goes and hits Bowling Green, and they show video of it going right by WKU, Western Kentucky University's campus. And I'm like, okay, it's in Bowling Green. If I see Campbellsville next, then I'm going to start to get worried. Well, sure enough, about an hour and a half later, it hits Campbellsville, and that line, Bowling Green to Campbellsville to where I live, if it's going to hit me, that's where it comes. So paying attention, and about 3:15 or so in the morning, it starts getting close enough to us that they start zeroing in and talking about our area. And I'm like, okay, I'm 47 years old. I've been through literally dozens and dozens and dozens of these nights. It never happens. It never happens here, but I'm going to watch just to make sure. And as it started getting closer and closer, it came through Campbellsville. It got about, well, on the weather, they said, if you're in Danville, that's where I live, it's 24 minutes away. But they get so detailed on the local weather. We don't watch like the Weather Channel, because they tell you if you're on this side of Danville, if it's crossing US 27. So at some point, about 20 minutes before it came here, I knew. It was like, all right, we gotta go. we got to go. I don't have a basement. My dad snowbirds in Florida. He's not there. I've got a key to his house. He's got a full basement. So I had one of my sons with me, and the other one was with his mom. So I went and woke him up out of a dead sleep at 3:30 in the morning. I was like, we got to go. We got to go to Papa's. So we go. You can hear the wind. You can hear things there. But we lost power for a little bit. But I knew that never once was I scared or did I think anything was happening at my dad's house. So I get up the next morning and I drive back home just to check and see if anything happened. And it looks perfect. There's nothing between my dad's house and mine. I get to my house, no damage. Everything's good. I'm like, whew. So about an hour later, I went out to get some breakfast and I drove the other way. And there's an airport, small airport. It's not like commercial. It's just private planes, private jets, about a half mile from my house. And the tornado had hit that airport. There were dozens of planes flipped, sheet metal everywhere. Hangars were just flattened. There was a house across the street that the roof was ripped completely off. House was completely intact. And there was a brick home.
The roof. Yeah.
Just the roof was gone. They had a barn beside the house. It was gone. That was a family of 4. They were in the house, but there was no injuries there. So I was like, started doing the math on the mile. I was like, because the roads kind of don't go directly between my house and the airport. You got to go this way and turn. I was like, man, that probably missed my house by like 1/8 of a mile. So I'm glad I made the decision for the first time in years, I left the house. But again, what happened here was nothing, because then daylight broke and we started seeing what happened in Western Kentucky. And Mayfield it's a town of 10,000 people, which might not sound like a lot to you guys, but if you don't follow tornadoes, it is rare. Tornadoes happen in Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa, out in the middle of corn and nothing, right? So it's rare that they hit populated areas. I mean, they might hit an area that big, that populated once a decade. Joplin, Missouri, Moore, Oklahoma. You hear about those about once every 10 years. I mean, so for an F5 tornado to go straight through downtown of a town of 10,000 is a major, major catastrophe. And that thing stayed on the ground for 200 miles. That was a different line of tornadoes. There was 2 coming through. The line that came through Bowling Green is the one that went through my backyard. It was nowhere near as intense as the line that went through Mayfield and Dawson Springs and Bremer. But Mayfield and Dawson Springs, those towns are destroyed. And that third town I mentioned, I think it's pronounced Bremer. 250 people in the town, small town. Last I heard, there was 12 fatalities. That's 5% of the population. 1 out of every 20. And everybody knows everybody in that town. In a town everybody has to know everybody. So those folks woke up and every structure in the town is gone. So they wake up, they don't have a house, they don't have any place to go. And then they find out 1 out of every 20 people I know just died. Just catastrophic. And I did a Twitter live the other night when I decided to do the fundraiser, and I used the analogy, and I talked to Eric Hecker a lot. Hecker's a good friend of mine as well.
Yeah, he's here in chat. He's such a dude, man.
He made the analogy about every Christmas you see like a house fire, and during the winter, and home burns down or water damage, and the community rallies around that family to make sure that they're taken care of and they're warm and they're fed. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking, there's no community to rally around these people because the entire community is in the same predicament, Yeah. And I know there are fundraisers, the Red Cross, the Kentucky Athletics Department, Coach Cal, Mitch Barnhart just raised $3 million. The radio show I was talking about, Kentucky Sports Radio, they did a 2-day fundraiser on their show, and they raised $300,000. So people are raising money here. But I had people reach out. I'm in a hobby dad chat group, and the hobby, a bunch of us dads are in a group, and there was people saying, I'd like to donate money. I don't know where to donate it to. If I give it to the Red Cross, is it going to go to Western Kentucky? If I give it here, is it going to go there? So I told the guys, I said, well, I'll try to find something that I know will be right. And I happened to be driving home from work the other night, and it was Tuesday night. And I got an email from my son's school principal and said, hey, Friday morning, we're going to be gathering up winter clothes, blankets, coats, diapers, formula, feminine products, razors, toothpaste, toothbrushes, anything we can gather, bring it to the school, and we're going to load it up in a big U-Haul or a big semi if we need to, and we're going to drive it down there. So it's very grassroots. It wasn't, there's no administrative cost to it. There's no having to pay somebody's salary. It's just our little community, 4.5 hours away, who thank God was spared. What can we do to help? And so the schools help organizing it. So I read that email and I was driving, and I was like, you know what? I'm fortunate. I mean, I'm not well off, but I'm comfortable in life. I'm going to go pick up as much stuff of that as I possibly can. And I'm going to deliver it to the school Friday morning. When I got home, I was just thinking, man, I know this community, this hobby community. I mean, they rally around causes. People have been reaching out to me saying, where can I donate? And I didn't have a place to tell them that I knew that I was 100% certain that everything they gave would be directly handed. It would be 100%, nothing taken out. 100% would go to helping families out there. So I just went to PayPal and created a quick fundraising page. And I knew that I had to turn the stuff in tomorrow morning, 8:30 in the morning. So I said, I'll set a limit. I'll end it at midnight on Thursday night. However much money I have in there, that's how many blankets and coats and socks and whatever I'll buy, and I'll deliver to my son's school. So as of right now,
you were fairly close last time I checked.
Yeah, we have raised $1,900.
Wow.
So
$100 away from the goal.
$100 away from 2,000. I went to Walmart tonight, talked to the store management, let them know what I was doing, told them I'd be there at 6 o'clock in the morning by myself. So I was going to need some help or some accommodations and then I went around and I priced cold weather sleeping bags. Okay. How big are those? How many can I fit in my car? Queen size blankets. How big are those? All right. How much do little girls' undergarments cost? Little boys' undergarments? How much are these packs of socks? How much are these coats? I figured it out. I figured it on 1,700, but so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go tomorrow and I'm getting 10 cold weather sleeping bags, 10 queen size blankets, 25 kids coats, about 20 packs of undergarments for girls, 20 for boys, about 20 packs of socks, maybe 30, 40 packs of socks. I'm going to spend $1,900 on stuff to keep these people warm.
Yeah, man, it's so hard and it's so good that it's you, and it's going to the school, and it's going right there to these people. And that's what's so great about it. Sorry, you getting emotional. Of course, I'm going to get emotional because seeing tough, awesome dudes get emotional, it just makes me emotional. So sorry, guys, but this hits home. Yeah, his home. It's his state. Bluegrass. He bleeds blue. There are people that are in need, and Che steps up. We did our fundraiser, and that was just out of the blue for a goof. And we felt good about that. But that's nothing for me compared to what Che's doing right now, because this is direct help. What he buys will be put in someone's hands tomorrow. And so that's just so great. And I couldn't be prouder that, Che, you're always going to be my partner on my show, but I'm so proud of you for doing this and organizing it and being the person. And I know you, I don't trust, there's no one I trust more in this hobby than you, maybe Hecker, but I know that, when you guys are doing something and it's for the good, it's going to happen for the good. And Hecker's giving you some,
yeah, man.
People like
I got to shout out
that guy. So you are.
I got to shout out Eric Hecker. Everybody knows Eric Hecker.
Yeah.
But I was between the time I read that email and the time I put up the fundraiser, my first person I reached out to was Eric. Yeah. And I was like, "Here's what I want to do. Do you think it'll work? Do you think, like you just said, you just said you trusted me, but I don't know how many people in the hobby trust me." And at first I was going to do it just like, PayPal me your money. And I knew people like you, Chris Goldline Cards, Hecker would do that. Ivan would do it. But the people who don't know me, who maybe the link got shared, are they going to be willing to say, all right, I'll send this guy $30 to his personal PayPal account to go do it?
Yeah.
So that, talking to Hecker, that gave me the idea that he said, "Oh, people will trust you; they'll do it. They know you." But then I said, "Well, I'm just going to go ahead and create a fundraiser." The, PayPal does take a little bit out of the on the fundraiser. It's about 2.5%, 3%. I'm going to make that up on my end. So if it says 1,900, PayPal will only give me 18 and change.
Yeah.
I'll make that up. So it'll be penny for penny. But if you want to donate, I'm not asking for big donations. When we've had $10 donations, we've had up to 500. We had one big lump sum 500 one. But every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. And it's my pinned tweet on my Twitter, I think. It's a link to it. And it'll be live for the next hour and 53 minutes. 2 hours and 53 minutes. So if my car fills up and I'm like, this is too much to fit in my car, the remaining funds will be Kroger grocery store gift cards or Walmart gift cards that will also be handed over to my son's school. So thank you for letting me talk about it, Tom. Like I said, it did not impact me or my family or anyone I know personally. I didn't lose anybody. Nobody got hurt in my family. However, like I said, I'm 47 years old. I've never seen anything like that. That
Phone line
destruction
says
in
you
my
just
life.
hit the 2K. Oh, it's so awesome, man, that we have the friends that we have. And it's time to take the sunglasses off.
Yeah.
People need to see emotion sometimes. And
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to show the emotion. Like, this is amazing. And you say you weren't, but it's your community. It's your town, like when the Boulder King Supers got shot up by that crazy guy. It's like, I went to that store. I lived in Boulder for years. It didn't affect me because I live in Broomfield, but I worked for that company. Did I know someone that worked there? So these are your people, and to take care of them, it's important. And it's something my dad he was a very biblical person, and I might be remembering this wrong, but there was a story in the Bible where people are giving donations, and the rich people are, like, oh yeah, here, take these gold coins. And then this woman comes up and gives like 3 pennies, and Jesus like blesses her, and everybody's like, why are you blessing her? I gave 10 times that. I gave 100 times that. And Jesus is like, she gave everything she had.
Yeah.
So we're not asking you to give everything you have. We're asking, if you can and you're comfortable and you feel the call to donate to any charity that our hobby people, do, like Hecker or, the Rip and Gypsy stuff, or, because we have these fundraisers all the time for people. If you feel comfortable and called to give, you don't have to give a lot. You give what you're comfortable with. It's not bragging rights, because usually the biggest donors are anonymous. Your big $500 one is anonymous.
It's anonymous
because they don't want the attention. They're like, I can do this, but I don't want to like guilt or whatever, or brag, because sometimes that's what it is. Like, I gave $500, and then someone sees that and they're like, oh yeah, Tom gave this, and oh yeah, no, that's no attention. Give what you can, and that's just what it is. And I do, and that story resonates with me, and I don't know where it came from in the Bible, but it's, and I've kind of lost a lot of the Bible stuff, but I still hold on to a lot of it. You know what I mean? You grow up, different stories mean stuff, but I've always remembered that, that it's not about how much you give. It's about like the giving that you do. And yes, that old lady in the Bible gave 3 cents or whatever, and that was everything she had. And, that meant more to Jesus than, the hundreds of gold coins that other people donated. So we're not asking you to like give everything you have, but we're saying what I'm trying to say is that everything helps. If you gave $5, you mean just as much to me in a donation as the guy that anonymously did 500. You guys are all equals. Yeah. You all gave, you all cared, you all are deserving of a thank you and the same amount of love. So And that's just not for you. This is for everything going forward. If you feel the call to donate what you can. Don't hurt yourself. Don't go backwards. Don't. It's like the hobby. Don't overbuy. So, but Che, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you,
Doing
man.
this is more than the one that I was involved with, because that one was like a joke and fun. And yes, it went to mental health for kids, but how it started out was feet pictures, and this is devastation and heartbreak. And, we were sharing pictures that night that we saw from news, and it was just like, like, here's that Amazon warehouse that's destroyed, and here's this candle factory that's destroyed, and here's this a 200-mile tornado, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's just crazy. I can't believe it. So proud of you. Let's change the subject a little, because you've got me all emotional. I'm going to put my sunglasses back on so I can be cool again, because my buddy.
Sorry about that, Tom.
Never be sorry for making me emotional, because I'm an emotional being, and I'm a man, and I have feelings. I found this out. My wife told me that, Tom, you do have emotions and you should feel them. Except,
hey, I agree.
You do well with anger. You feel anger, but feel your other emotions. And this is joy that I'm feeling. And because you did good, and people are going to get help. And, just the thought of like a little girl needing socks and underwear, and she's going to get it, just thinking about like how silly that might be for some people. And we take that for granted, but there's going to be people that aren't going to take this for granted. So, and I know you don't want any recognition for it, but you deserve some recognition from your friends. Like, you did good, man. And we're proud of you. And this is why we cling to you as a friend and won't let you go. Despite how many months you go without doing a YouTube show with me, I'm not going to let you go.
I'll get better. I'll get better.
So let's talk. We talked about how, you did Tops. What was the last product you opened? And did you have fun?
I found a couple of update hangers the other day at Walmart. And I always have fun with those. I pulled a Griffey Photo Variation SP. So I love Ken Griffey Jr. I love photo variations. So that was absolute money well spent. But before that, the last hobby product I bought was Stadium Club Chrome.
Oh, yes.
And, I did okay on those. I love Stadium Club. If there was only one product a year for me to open, it would be Stadium Club or Stadium Club Chrome, or both. Just the Stadium Club franchise is always been my favorite. I'm big into photography. I used to have a photography business on the side. So I appreciate just the quality that you can see. Some people would look at it and it's just a baseball card, but I can look at, just the crispness of the image, or the bokeh or the blur they got in the background on that one, or the angle of that one. And I'm like, man, that's just amazing. I like horizontal cards. A lot of people don't. There's a lot of horizontal cards in Stadium Club. And I just love the photography, and I love full bleed cards. The less border, the better for me.
Yeah.
So, I could pull nothing of value and get a lot of value out of opening Stadium Club. I just love it.
Stadium Club came out for the first time.
I do.
That was crazy. I remember
it's all glossy and shiny and beautiful. Yeah.
And I couldn't afford a pack, man. It's like, what the hell? Pack's supposed to be $1. What is this? I can't buy that.
Chris wants us to talk about that Stadium Club Jesse Winker. That is an awesome card. He's in the batting circle. If you haven't seen it, Stadium Club Jesse Winker. Stadium Club Chrome Jesse Winker is a sweet card. So we'll probably be watching the Rainbow Chase from Goldline Cards on that one.
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
Get your Jesse Winkers in.
It's a really, really cool card. It really is. So I love Stadium Club. So yeah, answer your question. The last product I really bought was Stadium Club Chrome, and I had a hell of a lot of fun opening it. It was good.
I think the last product I bought was a month or 6 weeks ago. They had WNBA Prism Blasters. And I was like, you know what? That might be fun, because my nieces, I I've shared this before. I've got them binders for cards that had the women's soccer players and Garbage Pail and some baseball, because we went to the card shop and they got their free pack on free pack day. And I was like, you know what? I'll open this up. If there's anything crazy, then good. If there's nothing crazy, then I can give them pages for their binder and it'll be fun. And I had fun opening it. And, I hate Prism. It's one of my least favorite products, but it was fun to open something and it was good. So I'm kind of back into that. And I've got a lot of mail and, Hecker sent me a wonderful Christmas rack. I've got to get some packages out before I can open more mail, just because I'm so far behind on mail. But I'm getting back to that point where I'm starting to feel that itch where I'm interested in cards again, which I had lost for a while, except for Project 70, which is going to go on for another 2 years. One of my guys dropped a card today, so I have to pick that up. But besides that, I haven't been getting anything. Keith Shore, he dropped
one. Who was it?
Babe Tooth. He's doing his last 5 cards. It started last week when he had the Derek Jeter stuck in a
Coke bottle.
One. Yeah. This one is Babe Tooth. It's Babe Ruth with a big smile, and the teeth are all baseballs in his mouth. So his last 5 are going to be Garbage Pail, and I love Garbage Pail, and I love Keith Shore. So 3 cards left of his. Well, if I buy this one, there's 4. So, but then after this, it'll be 3 left for that complete set, and couldn't be happier because I just want Shore and Party to get their cards in and then get out, and then I'm done. And then if anything amazing comes up, I could be like, hey, maybe I could get that. But right now, it's like I see cool cards that some artists are releasing. And I'm just like, no, I don't care. I just got to get my guys and get out. So I wanted to talk to you about your photography because
Hold on one second. I'm going to ask you, did you see Top's tweet earlier today about what's your Garbage Pail Kids name?
Yes, you need to talk about that.
What was yours?
So this is funny, and I'll tell mine because mine's a little bit of a long story. I did Tinseled Tom, and then I saw our buddy Tyler Murphy. He did Tinseled Tyler, and I was like, that's funny. He's like, yeah, it sounded better than Mary Murph or something. And then I was like, well, Tinseled Tom, my card is myself strangled to death hanging from a tree with tinsel around my neck. I was like, what's your card? Nothing. But yours is way better. You just tell everybody.
I had a very vivid, painful image of what mine would be. So it's Christmas, right? And I used to be, when I was young and dumb, every time I would hear chestnuts roasting on an open fire, I would sing along with it. But instead of saying chestnuts roasting on an open fire, I would just always say, Chase nuts roasting on an open fire, So I just said that if I had a Garbage Pail Kid of me, it would be Chase nuts roasting. So, so that was my name. So, then we could go with it, Jack Frost nipping at Tom's toes. We could make a whole song out of it with you and your toes and me and my nuts. Yeah.
And I posted that earlier today too. I was like, does Tom need to do a mistletoe shoot?
Yeah.
And I think I am. I'm not going to do mistletoe. I'm going to grab a string of Christmas lights and do a little foot modeling, take some pictures, set up my OnlyFans, throw them up there for the laughs, because that's just what I do. But your photography, you're right. My wife wanted a DSLR camera a few years ago, and we got a Nikon, and we can't take that great pictures. And I tell her, what I say is, I just click the button and it'll take like 50 quick pictures, and then one of those might be good. I don't have the skills for it, but you do. And then the way you talk about the Stadium Club photography, I get that because I know how bad my pictures are. Like my pictures are garbage. Those are great. And you explaining that as an artist, a photographer yourself, it makes sense to me, like why you would appreciate that and why I appreciate it, because I know how hard it is and you know how hard it is.
Yeah, it's hard. You can't just, you can go spend $2,500 on a camera and put it on auto, and you won't take any better picture than you do with your iPhone. You can take some decent pictures with iPhones and with a DSLR, but you got to turn it to manual, and you got to do the math, and you got to think, how fast is this subject moving? How, what's the lighting like out here today? How do Do I need to open the aperture wide open or close it tight? And in this situation, it's just practice.
Yeah.
And just a willingness to learn and just a passion for it. It's like anything else. If you're passionate about something, then it's fun. And so you just want to go practice. Man, I used to get off work and just, and instead of coming home, I would just go straight to, I love to hike and I love to take pictures. So I would just go find a trail somewhere, take a tripod and a camera and just, half the fun of getting to the place to take the pictures was just getting there. I mean, I enjoyed taking the pictures, but I enjoyed getting there. I love to do landscapes. That's my favorite. I used to do portraits, senior portraits, and weddings, school pictures for like athletic organization. Like my nephew was on the bowling team all 4 years. So all 4 years he was in high school, I did the bowling pictures, I did their team pictures, and I did their individual shots. But I didn't like that. That wasn't where my passion was at. I've done a couple weddings. That involves a hell of a lot of editing and getting pimples off somebody's nose. And, that's not the fun part. The fun part to me was going out and getting to the spot to take the picture, enjoying where I was and like, look how damn beautiful this is. And I'm going to try to capture it as best I can on what I'm seeing right now so I can remember this later. But I got pretty good at it. I bought my first camera. My first son was born in 2010, and my now ex-wife, but at the time she's like, one of her really good friends was the public affairs officer in the National Guard full time. And she wrote stories for the newspaper and she also took the photos. And she got really good at taking photos and she just always took these most amazing pictures. So my ex-wife was like, we ought to get a camera because we're going to spend thousands of dollars on pictures of this child. We are going to do that. So why don't we get a camera and we can take our own? So that's how that's how I first got the bug. I bought my first camera shortly after my first child was born in 2010. And man, it became a hobby. I wasn't doing cards at the time. I took anybody who's read my blog or knows my story knows I took about a 22 year hiatus from the hobby. But that was my passion. I got pretty good at it. I sold some, I just kind of got off on a tangent. I took the pictures of the senior pictures and the wedding pictures and the school pictures just to get enough money, kind of like we do now. You sell cards to get money, not to put in the bank. For me, I sell cards to get money to go buy more cards.
Yeah.
Well, I took photos of people to get more money to buy more equipment to go take photos of trees and waterfalls and sunsets and beaches and mountains that I love to take. But those mountains don't pay you to take pictures of them. No. So I took the pictures of people on the side just to get enough money to just increase what I had in my camera bag. And man, it's a passion of mine, and it's not gone for good. But it's time consuming. It's more time consuming than going to Jimmy's card shop and buying a box of Top Stadium Club and sitting there and opening them at the table and then coming home. I mean, it's a time consuming hobby. But it's therapeutic for me. It was really therapeutic for me, and I absolutely love it. And I love to share my work. I used to have a website, but I took it down. But every once in a while, I'll throw a photo or two on my card Twitter. But I try not to spam that because it's a card Twitter account, right? People don't want to see my pictures, but
people do want to see your pictures. That's the thing. We love you.
Passion for baseball. If y'all don't follow Passion for Baseball, he's my clone. Probably he's huge into vintage cards. Got a hell of a vintage collection. Shares a lot of his stuff. Got a great stepdaughter named Marley who absolutely loves vintage cards. What was it? Was it Ernie Banks? She got the Ernie Banks rookie and just lost her mind. Yes. Yeah, she makes the videos.
Yeah.
But he makes a living as a photographer and has does a hell of a job. He posts some of his photos on Twitter, and he's really, really good as well. So, but if you don't follow Passion for Baseball, go follow him. He's a good follow.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Okay. We got Jen saying you've been teaching her, and then Hecker, he wants to know, sounds like you might need to take or teach a hobby how to take photo class, and not for the cards and light boxes, but
yeah.
So this is what I wanted to bring up because I've seen your pictures. I love them. When is the Che NFT project coming out with your pictures? Would you be willing to throw up some pictures on like OpenSea, and just to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I would, but my pictures are,
Is it a
I don't want to say
personal
generic.
thing? You don't
No,
want
they're
to?
just so
Okay.
generic. I mean, anybody that's got the talent and the time to go to those locations. I mean, there's nothing truly creative I do other than become creative with the settings on the camera to make it the best it could possibly be. But I don't, man, I tell you what, I mean, some of the stuff those people do, I mean, I just can't, I don't have the, if you all want full transparency, if you see those things, there's a lot of Photoshop that goes into a lot of that stuff. And I don't have the Photoshop skills to make something that pops and is truly unique, something that you can't go to Walmart and see on a
Yeah.
poster. Yeah. I can take really good quality stuff, but it's not really unique enough to be attractive as to, oh, I want to pay money for that. I mean, I've sold a few. I have a few up that on a licensing site that probably my membership's probably gone, but like where Hilton hotels might come in and say, we want to license this many products to put in all of our, you walk into your hotel room and there's a picture behind
Yeah.
that. I've got
cool.
some on sites like that, but I haven't sold any of that kind of stuff in years. So, I mean, I would, but I truly don't think my product would be unique enough to attract.
You're comparing yourself to the top 1% of the NFT photographers out there, because there's this 85% that is just, I see it and I'm like, wow, that's bad.
Yeah.
And that goes with all NFTs right now for me, honestly. I see 95% of NFTs. I'm like, that is just lazy or bad or not as creative as it could be.
Well, see, that's the problem. I mean, my stuff is probably too good to be attractive because it's so bad, if that makes sense. Because, there's something you're like, what in the hell? But that's art, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think that's where the creativity comes in. And I just don't have that to see. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when you said that, it's just like, on some art, you look at it and you're like, what in the world, like a Jackson Pollock or something. You're like, what in the world is somebody buying that for? But it's unique and it's got its own style and its own brand, and mine just doesn't have that. But
okay. No, that was just something I've been thinking about. I was like, man, Jay's really good at photography, and I see so much trash.
Yeah.
And why can't Shay do it? And it's different to hear someone be like, I don't want to cash grab or try to do something. Because that's what everyone seems to be doing. So it's just kind of nice to like, hey, I take good photos, but I'm not taking good photos to try to do that. I don't want to use my old good photos to try to do anything like, anything cash grabby or, and the NFT people that, like you and I, we do the Top Shot, and I haven't done the last few drops. I haven't gotten into because I bought like 5 packs of the Series 3 pack 2 drop, and it got I'd like not one nugget, and it was just like really bad people. I posted like I got a whole bunch of white people. I was like,
I got 3. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. The guy from the Heat, Max Struess or whoever it is. I bought 5 packs and got 3 of him the other day.
You're just like, why are these here?
2 Bogdanoviches, and it was bad. I got a bowl. Sent that one to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Goldline, he sent me a Faku and a Camby, and I still love them. I still love Top Shot. I still believe in Top Shot. I'm just at this point where I'm like, I don't want to do Top Shot right now until something cool happens. Because once they went to Series 3, they added more players, so I lost all my bonuses that I had. Because for collecting all of Series 2, you got a collector score bonus. Well, I had all the nuggets at one point, and then we got this Andre Miller that's $300. That who the hell would want an Andre Miller for $300?
Right.
But it's a what I call a crotch block. It's a bottleneck that if you don't have that, you can't complete the team set. So my collector score went from near 3,000 to like 1,500, and I was just like, wow, this kind of turns me off.
That sucks. Yeah, that's not a cool thing to do, to like kind of pin you down to say you have to buy a $300 moment just to keep going. It's
yeah, to bring you
that's a very
back.
good marketing move. Yeah.
Yeah, it should have just been like, okay, you get this bonus from having these previous players, but now to get more, you have to go there. But instead, they just dropped you down. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
smart on their end to get you to be like, oh, I have to get it. But that has the opposite effect on me as a
They
collector.
probably chose the wrong time to do that. Had they done
Yeah.
that in May, it might have worked. But
Yeah.
yeah.
When people are more, there's more money being tossed. So.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to since we haven't talked?
Man,
Just-
I've been working. I mean, I didn't talk about it when it happened. Probably 2 people on here know. In December, I woke up one morning to a phone call that said, due to future uncertainties caused by COVID, your department is basically being gutted. And I worked for a company that I was, it's called field sales manager. I had a territory basically from, if you take Kentucky and draw a line from Cincinnati down to Tennessee and go west to West Virginia, I was out in the field training retail people that worked in Walmart's, Best Buys, other type of stores on how to position our products, how to sell them, how to use them so they could talk to customers on how to sell them. But COVID hits, and all of a sudden, this account says you can't come in here anymore. And then this account says you can't come in here anymore. And this account says you can only come in once a month and you have to be this, this, and this. All of a sudden, we don't have anywhere to go. So company pays us for like 10 months to stay home and make phone calls to these places. Well, I mean, long story short, that's not very, you can't blame the company. I wasn't, the job they hired me to do, I could not do.
Yeah.
And they kept me because I was a I was a hands-on. Here's how you got to do it. So in December, they're like, we don't know when this is going to end. We don't know how much longer this is going to go. So unfortunately, if you're not in one of our top 50 markets in America, you're gone. And then if you're in one of the top 50 markets, we're restructuring it, but you've got enough in downtown Atlanta that you can still have a productive day. When you're Che and you're going to this Walmart in this store in Eastern Kentucky, and your next Walmart is an hour away, and you're spending all that time driving, but then you can't go. Anyway, it just didn't make sense to have the more rural market. So anybody who was in a rural market, not in a top 50 MSA, we lost our jobs. So as of December 12th of last year, I didn't have a job. But I got a great severance. And so for a month or 2, I started looking for another job. And then it's a little bit longer than that. And I couldn't find anything that was equivalent. So I had a good savings, really good severance. So I just lived off it for a while. And then I decided that I would pursue real estate, become a realtor, because I'd always thought I would like to do that. So I went to real estate school, but as a realtor, you're an independent contractor. You're not, so I was like, man, I gotta have some benefits, because you don't hit the ground running and it's like, okay, I'm a realtor today, I'm gonna sell my first house tomorrow. It just doesn't happen. So I knew it was going to be a long build up. So I'd worked for T-Mobile for about 15 years earlier in my life, and left on really good terms. And in my old job, I visited T-Mobile's, and so I still had the relationships there, and I knew the culture there was a culture that I could live, that I would enjoy, not only live with, but it was a culture that I would enjoy. So after taking quite a few months, probably a couple months too long, enjoying that time, I enjoyed the summer with my kids.
Yeah,
I just said, you know what, it'd be the last time in my life until they're gone. We're going to have this summer together. I've got the means, and I've never done this. I've worked every day since I've been 16 years old. And, for the last 31 years, I've worked every day of my life. And I'm just going to take this opportunity, go to real estate school while I was doing that. And I'm going to spend this summer with my kids. So I did. And then come the fall, they went back to school. I called up some connections at T-Mobile and said, hey, I'm looking for something part-time, nothing that will interfere with my ability to do this real estate, but I need some benefits. And First phone call I made, they're like, "Yeah, we got a spot for you." So they brought me back. I'm working part time for T-Mobile, and I'm enjoying it. So
Good.
it's that's a little bit different. So when I was on Twitter so much and writing blogs and tweeting 100 times a day and doing all that stuff, I didn't have a job. I was sitting at home, and even before that, for the previous year, I was working from home. So for the last 18 months, or since COVID started until October, I was home.
Yeah.
Whether I was working from home or jobless from home, I was home. That's another reason why I'm not quite so active on social media, is because I'm no longer home all the time. So
And that's why we should
what's going on
savor
there.
your tweets. If we see a tweet from Che, we got to savor it and retweet it. And I tried to, everyone I see, I'm just like, what? Oh, I saw Che on my timeline. Let's go. Nope. I have to go search him. He was active. What did he say? Yes, 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 yes. Except for, no, not this diehard one. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. But yeah, it's see, that's also like the Tom show. You had time and I had time. And then it was like you had to get your job and your structure, and then I had to get my second job. And that's why there hasn't been a Tom show.
Yeah.
It's not, we did kind of have a little bit of a passion fallout and a little bit of a depression for my side, big time with like the hobby stuff. But it's just been so busy, and and that's why 2 nights a week I'm available, and I want to talk to my friends to help fight my depression, get me off the couch.
Well, I love this idea that you've got. It's been entertaining. I've watched, I haven't gotten to see them all, but I love the format. It's entertaining. So I don't know if I can go 2 hours like you did with some others, but I absolutely love. I love it. I'm glad to see you happy. I'm glad that it's therapy for you. It's cathartic for you.
Yeah.
And it comes across when you're talking, man. I mean, I've got a screenshot of just you with this biggest smile laughing on your face. And I love to see that, man. I mean, I love to see my friends laugh and see my friends smile. If this does that for you, then man, I'm all for it. Absolutely.
And that's, like I said, that's why. And I don't expect people to go 2 hours. I just kind of like, let's just try to go for one, because that's a good show to me.
Yeah.
But man, Ben, Midwest Box Breaks, his wife was texting him like, now. And then we got off the show and we talked for another 30 minutes. And I'm like, dude, and I told him, like, I didn't know you that well, but once I started talking to you, it's like, gosh darn it, man, I like this guy.
Yeah.
And I just want to keep talking to him, because he has, and he might watch this, and I hope he doesn't take it the wrong way, but he was like, everyone thinks I block everyone because of you. And I'm like, well, that's the kind of impression that I was getting from some people, that you did block everybody, and that you're kind of like a person that was difficult at times, but it just came. But once I talked to him, it's like, no, it makes sense, and you're not a jerk or a elitist or anything. You're just, this is your business, and you don't have time for bull crap in your business. And hey, it's perfect. So however long, Che, if you need to go, you could go at any time. You just need to call it, but because you've already made me laugh so much today.
I do. Oh man, that's so awesome. Thank you so much. Obi-Wan Jabroni just said I've got an NFT ready after the show. That's nice. That's so cool. Thank you so much. I was going to tell you, I got a card story that we talked about cards, and I didn't talk about my card story.
Yes. Tell a story.
Can I tell my card story?
Absolutely.
So if you're still watching this, thank you, bless you. Or if you just came in late, because you probably haven't, other than Chad and Jen, and you probably haven't been watching from the very beginning till now. But we're all in this hobby, right? We've all probably are known to our circle of real life friends as the card guy, and we've all probably gotten these phone calls from a cousin or an old friend. Man, I found my old cards when I was a kid. How much can you come see how much they're worth? And they think they've gotten because they've seen the stuff on the news about the card. The hobby's exploding now, and people are selling these cards for millions of dollars. So they go to their basement and get all their 1988 tops and 1989 score, and they call you over to look at their cards. I've had that happen so often, and I have to tell them, no, I know it's Mark McGwire's rookie, or I know it's Barry Bonds rookie. I'm telling you, it's not worth what you think it is, because there was 11 million of those printed. So I got a text message the other day, Discord message. Got a message on Discord from one of my former coworkers, who she was a car collector as a kid. She's much younger than me, probably 15 years younger than me. And she just sends me a text and says, "Hey, would you mind to help me figure out what this card I found is worth?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
Yeah.
So then she sends me a picture, and I almost swerved off the road. So, but the
Don't
picture,
be driving and texting and Discording, Che. Come on now.
The picture, it's in a scratched up case, and I couldn't really tell what. I was like, "Oh my God, please don't let that be the card." And I got to look at it, and I was like, "Shit, that's in a screw down." And I was like, "Oh my God, please don't let this card be ruined." And so I finally got to see the card, and thank goodness she had put it in the screw down. She got it out of a pack, and she put it directly in the top in a penny sleeve when she got it, and put it in the screw down, and it was a recessed screw down. So, and it was in a penny sleeve. So the card is not damaged. It's almost in perfect condition. This card is not mine. I'm going to help her. I'm going to send it to PSA for her. And then we're going to help her establish comps, and she's probably going to try to sell it. And I wish I could buy it, but I can't. But anyway, she sends me the picture. "Can you help me value this card I just found?" She wouldn't have even found it. Her parents, her dad, her mom got a new job in Florida, and her parents were moving to Florida, and her mom called and said, "Come get your junk out of the house or it's getting thrown away." So she goes and gets a couple boxes that had been in her mom's house since she was a kid and takes them back to her house. And while digging through the box, she finds the LeBron James first edition Topps rookie that, other than being 55-45 centered top to bottom, is in basically pristine condition. I mean, I was like, you have got to. It's not just, the 2003 Topps rookie. It's the first edition rookie. I couldn't believe it. So, I've got possession of the card now, but it is not mine. But I'm going to help her. I'm going to help her make sure that she doesn't get fleeced, and make sure that she gets.
Have you looked it up? How much are those going for? Right now?
This won't. Well, PSA could grade it a 10 because they're lenient on centering. It would not get a 10 at BGS, 100% for sure. I mean, I've seen actualized sales of a PSA 10 of this card about 15,000. Wow. But I don't think it'll get a 10. I think it'll come back to PSA 9. I'm pretty sure it'll come back to PSA 9. So I mean, it's definitely mid four figures. I would think.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's a
card I've ever.
It's a pretty good find, and it's just been in a box in her parents' house for the last 15 years, just sitting there. And it's funny. I wish I had them, because the other 3 or 4 cards she sent were like a Ben Wallace napkin, jersey insert, and so the 4 cards that she had kept out that were her valuable ones back then, the other 3 were like, $1.50 now, and then this one's 15,000. So it's just but anyway, that's a good friend calling you to say, how much is this card worth? Fine. You don't run across that one every day.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh man, cool. That's crazy.
I was really happy to be able to tell her, you've got something good there. Yeah. So
I could say that to someone, but I would also be like, you have something that I cannot help you with because it's out of my league. Because man, like, I don't know, like I've never submitted a card. I don't want to. I'm bad at comps. I just throw up stuff or whatever and take offers. That's my way to sell. I kind of browse comps, but can't trust comps anymore. But wow. Yeah, Chad, I'd take 5,000 for it. I would just be like, hey, if someone offered me 5,000.
He's got a card that we found in his old box that if it were to grade a 10 would be highly valuable. I won't give that away, but I stumbled across one that this summer we were talking that weekend I visited him, and I stumbled across one. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Didn't know you had this one. So yeah, it's fun. That's a fun, finding. And that card had been in under his dad's steps for years.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say who the player was. It might rhyme with Derek Leader. But yeah, he's got a pretty good Jeter card that we
Nice.
found. We were digging through his stuff. It was pretty cool.
That's
So
crazy. So let's talk
yeah.
about Kentucky, the University of Kentucky, and your collection and collecting of them and those players. Because your baseball PC is not motivated by that at all, but your other
Kind of,
sports
yeah, it is. Yeah,
is
yeah. Other
so
sports, yeah, 100%. I mean, in the baseball PC, I mean, Kentucky, I mean, they've produced a few players over the years,
yeah.
but they've never produced many Reds, many superstars. So yeah, the Kentucky baseball, and when I was
And I
growing up,
sent
you
you a
couldn't.
guy from Kentucky, right? Some prospect.
Evan White,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I know
I've been
they're all
collecting
right
a lot
there,
of,
but
yeah, a lot of Evan White, Kai Tom for the Pirates is a former Kentucky guy. I collect both of those, but until recently, my collecting gap, there were no prospect cards. You couldn't get like the contenders prospects, so I
yeah.
didn't really collect a lot of Kentucky baseball cards. But no, I would rather have a Carl Anthony Towns card of him in a Kentucky jersey than him in a Timberwolves jersey. I collect Kentucky Kentucky players. For the most part, football. I'm a Kentucky basketball fan, have been all my life. But the older I get, the less passionate I am about Kentucky basketball. I don't think it has anything to do with Coach Cal or anything like
Okay.
that. I just don't enjoy watching. I try to watch it and I just get bored. I'm bored with college basketball. It's not as fun for me to watch. I am an absolute huge college football fan and a huge Kentucky football fan. I'm the rare Kentucky football fans don't get enough credit here in the state because the basketball fans are so
Yeah.
rabidly, stupidly,
Yeah.
fanatical.
It's about the basketball. Let's be serious.
Yeah, but I mean, you go to a UK football game on a Saturday night in October, and there's 60 some thousand people there, and it's the craziest. It's just like going to an Alabama game, except instead of having 85,000 people, there's only 62,000 people. But they're rabid. But I'm a huge Kentucky football fan. If you told me next year one of the teams is going to have a losing record, one of the teams is going to win the SEC, I would say give me the basketball team with a losing record and get 100% and give me the football team winning the SEC.
Nice.
I would trade the basketball. I'd take a losing record in basketball for a 10-win season for not just winning the SEC, but I just love Kentucky football.
When did that
so
happen?
I love collecting.
Like
when
the
I was
football?
5
Because,
years
like, when I
old,
was it
go
always
ahead.
crazy for Kentucky football fans? Because for a while there, it just seemed like they were above Vanderbilt. Like, I might be ignorant, so forgive my ignorance if I'm speaking like an asshole. But as a Tennessee fan, and I know you hate Tennessee, but I'm not one of those Tennessee fans.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, we're going to beat Vanderbilt and we're going to beat Kentucky, and Kentucky's a little bit better than Vanderbilt. That's what I remember. Were there always that crazy rabid fan base filling up the stadium? Because college is different; it's a different beast.
Yeah.
But I know a few years ago the program kind of, started really producing some big time. I mean, you guys had that Tim Couch, right? That quarterback, he was there.
Yeah.
But other than that,
that's when it got rabid. So, all right, 1977 to 1997 was a dark 20 years in our history, and that's when it was nothing to. We went to 2 bowl games in 20 years, and so that was when I cut my teeth and became a passionate rabid fan. My mom happened to date a guy when I was 5 whose brother was on the UK football team. So I got taken to Commonwealth Stadium for the first time when I was 5. And not only did I sit in the stands, but I got to go in the locker room after the game. And, I was being held by, and I just developed from that moment on. I'm a 5-year-old, right? And there's these,
absolutely.
These bigger than life heroes. That's when I developed my love for UK football. But no, we went 10-1 in 77, and then it was awful until 97. We got a guy named Hal Mummy as our coach and Tim Couch. We had Bill Curry, who coached at Alabama, left Alabama to come to Kentucky to be the coach and sucked. And we had the best quarterback in the history of high school football commit to us because he was from Kentucky. And Curry had him running the option in the first year. So they fired Bill Curry and they brought in this guy named Hal Mumme who revolutionized. If you're watching football today in college and some pros, the offense you're watching is some kind of derivative from what Hal Mumme invented. So he came in and they start throwing 60, 70 times. Nobody did it at the time. They're throwing for 450 yards a game. They're scoring, they're getting beat. It's like watching Big 12 football now. They're getting beat 53 to 49. Yeah. Where before we were used to getting beat 21-3 and 21-10, but he made it exciting. And we had Tim Couch and we had, Craig East, one of my childhood friends who went on to play for the Bengals. And, he was, broke the SEC record for most completions or most receptions in a career, most touchdowns. So that was exciting, and people came and they expanded the stadium and they filled the stadium. And then it turned out that Mumme might have cheated a little bit, just a little while he was here, and they had to let him go. And we fell on some hard times for about 10 years again. And but it never got as bad as it was before. But then we brought a guy named Rich Brooks, who had coached at Oregon and took Oregon from what you remember Kentucky being. That's what Oregon was. And he took them from that to what Oregon is now. The stadium is named Rich Brooks Stadium because he was the one that brought Oregon from nothingness to a national power. Well, he was old and, he just came here, but he had a really, really good 5-year run. The year LSU won the national championship, they were ranked number 1. We beat them at home. I was at that game, and it was one of the most exciting moments of my life. Is beating the eventual national champion. Yeah. But at that day, that was in 2007. It was crazy. There was the passionate, crazy, fans back then, and it's been that way since. There was a couple of really, really lean years, which we had a coach that came after Rich Brooks that wasn't very good, and he let us regress back. I think there was a game against Vanderbilt. There might have been 17 people in the stands. But it was one of those. It was a November game, 28 degrees and raining outside. Yeah. But it's now back to what I knew is when Chad and I were in college. It was pretty good at that point too. But it's probably better than ever now. I mean, it's a true home field advantage when somebody comes into I still call it Commonwealth Stadium, even though it's now Kroger Field, but. When another team comes in there, they are facing a tough road environment, now, and it's been that way since I, it's been a good place to go see a football game for a long time, but it's taken a notch up these last 3 or 4 years for sure. Well, but it's awesome. Fun. It's my favorite. I mean, going to a college football game it's a day well spent for me. I love it. So
yeah, I didn't really go to college. I went for 1 semester, and I don't have that. I root for Tennessee because I'm from Tennessee. I rooted for CU, and I'll still root for CU a little bit because, I moved to Colorado and they won the national championship like a year or 2 after I did. So, I have that, but I don't have that personal connection. And a new PC that I started was inspired by you. It's Austin Ekeler for the Chargers. He went to the same tiny small town school in Gunnison. Gunnison is a town of 6,000 people. 4 hours southwest of Denver, high up in the mountains, tiny college. And, he is an amazing player. And so it's like, if he's in a college uniform card, I want his autograph or a patch, especially for a Western uniform. So that's kind of got me. That's what reminded me of this, is because I think I did buy an Austin Ekeler card not too long ago. Yeah. It's in my mail pile somewhere. But the passion for college sports I don't have that. And I'm, like I said, with this Austin Ekeler, I'm starting to see that because I don't want college uniforms at all. Like, I hate the college uniforms as basketball or football. Like, no, I want the Broncos. I don't care. They went to, he went to Alabama. I hate Bama, So it's just like my team, but it's so good to see someone that has that opposite where you're like, I just want,
Oh, I've got offensive line. I'm the UK guy, so if I get a rack in the mail, it's either going to be Rod Crew, Eric Davis, or somebody in a UK uniform. Yeah. And I've got so many. Like, I've got, Quentin Bohanna, a defensive lineman. Somebody sent me a Quentin Bohanna autograph the other day, and I loved it because he's in his in his UK uniform. If it's a player in a UK uniform, I love it. There's no short of AAA in baseball and some minor league or sub level soccer franchises and hockey teams. There's no professional team in Kentucky. There's no major league franchise in our state.
Yeah.
So we got the Reds and the Bengals, which are might as well be, Kentucky North. I guess it's kind of weird. Northern Kentucky, Ohioans, when they make fun of Cincinnati, say it's part of Kentucky. And then us in Kentucky, when we make fun of Northern Kentucky, we say it's part of Ohio. So so that little section up there, but it's
disowned
so
by
people
everyone.
Yeah, they like the Reds and the Bengals. If you're from Louisville, you might be a Colts fan because that's who you saw on TV.
Yeah.
So I was growing up, we got Bengals games, and if you grew up in Louisville, you got Colts games. But there was not that connection to that hometown. This is my team because it's my hometown. Yeah. So you've got the University of Kentucky, and it's the statewide. I'll tell you, it's crazy. I know there's passionate fan bases out there, but this is the third time I've mentioned this radio show, but Kentucky Sports Radio. Kentucky's playing in Las Vegas on Saturday. So every year this radio team chooses a week that they do a cross-country trip. Usually if it's Kentucky's playing in LA or if they're playing in Las Vegas, they'll just get in the car and they'll drive and they'll stop for the night. They'll get up the next morning, do their morning show from the hotel lobby or whatever, and then they'll drive to the next location. So this time they've gone through, I think they were in Rochester, Minnesota, then they went to the Badlands in the Dakotas, and then they stopped in somewhere. They were trying to get to Cheyenne, but they stopped at some tiny, tiny town. And they do these radio remotes all the time. They've done them in New Mexico. They've done them in Vermont. They did one in Canada. They do probably 20 to 25 a year. And they don't tell people where they're going to be until the show comes on, and it's a 2-hour show. They've never once had a show that UK fans didn't show up to watch the show live. They were in some little town in Wyoming yesterday or the day before, and 3 people showed up. And they didn't know where they were going to be till they flipped it on. They said, sorry guys, we thought we were going to be in Cheyenne this morning. We're in this town. And before the show was over, there were 3 UK fans there watching.
That's amazing.
So, UK fans are so passionate about Kentucky, kind of like Steelers fans travel. Steelers fans are everywhere. Yep. The Steelers are playing in Los Angeles. You see them. Well, that's the same with Kentucky fans. Because we didn't have that professional team. So Kentucky is their everything. It's their professional football team, their basketball team, their baseball. You just follow UK. That's what you do. I kind of wrote a blog about my mom and her love of UK, of all things UK. Yeah. If they had blue and white on, if it was gymnastics, if it was rifle, track and field, soccer, he was watching it on the SEC network.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say Tennessee back in the 80s was the same way. There was no professional team. So it was like we got Braves and we got Falcons, and sometimes you'd get like the Redskins. But yeah, it was the same deal. Tennessee's got teams now. So, but yeah, I saw that. I think I sent you, I was door dashing one day. It might've been the weekend that Tennessee was playing Kentucky actually, but there was a huge Kentucky flag just flying at a house in some suburb in Denver.
I've got a picture I was walking down the street in Seoul, South Korea, and I'm the one with the camera. So I was not in the picture. Yeah. And I took a picture of 2 UK shirts in the shopping center in Seoul, South Korea. And I've got it somewhere. Awesome. So they're everywhere. Hecker, I think they might end up playing UNC because I think UNC and UCLA is going to get canceled. I know that they talked about that cancellation today, but Kentucky went ahead and flew out. The team went ahead and flew out today. So they're headed to Vegas. So I think they feel like they're going to play somebody. But yeah, Kentucky, Ohio State was canceled this Saturday because Ohio State's got the COVID.
Everyone has the COVID. The entire Browns quarterback room, Broncos are getting all these teams. Avalanche have like 1 million tests. It's just everywhere right now. And the NFL, I don't know if you heard, they kind of changed their tune quick, and it's kind of a dick profit move because they're like, we have teams that are having 20 outbreaks, we can't play games. They're going to be canceled. No. If you're vaccinated, you could play. You know what I mean? It's like, what? So it's like they're changing their rules just to make money. So it's just kind of like crazy. You know, the Omicron, they say it's easily spreadable, but not as bad in the lungs.
Seems
so
like,
it's,
seems like
so
that.
it's like we're getting to that point where it's going to be like not a bad flu, and you know, people will get it, but they're not going to be on ventilators because that's my hope is this thing's going to be around forever. But it's
here to stay. It's new flu. We're going to have flu season and COVID season, and it's hopefully we just develop to where we can deal with it. You know, so
that's
hey man. I can say a couple more minutes, but I'm going to have to dip here in a minute. So
absolutely.
got a big morning in the morning. So
it's 10 o'clock for you. It's only 8 for me. So you got the fundraiser. You got to get up at 8 hours, and
I'll be at Walmart at 6 a.m. doing that shopping so I can get the stuff delivered to my son's school at 8:45. So
I get to talk all the time. Che, why don't you just wrap it up with what you want to say or whatever's on your heart or brain or butt or whatever. Let's just, I'll just get it out.
Thanks for putting me on the spot, Tom. I didn't know I was going to have to do that. No, look, I love all you guys. If you're watching right now, I see Hecker still commenting, Chad's still commenting.
He wants to see the live stream of your trip to Walmart. I might be something you might want to do. You might want to record some of this stuff.
I'll definitely get some. I'll definitely get some video or some pictures. Yeah. But no, I love this community. I don't want to be melodramatic. Or my son, since the time he was 5 or 6 and he learned what the word hyperbole means, has called me the king of hyperbole. So I go. But I don't want to say this hobby saved my life. This community saved my life. It didn't, but it helped keep me sane. I told you I was working from home for a year. I'm a kid. I'm a guy who lives for my children and went through a divorce, a couple of years before I found the hobby community, and my life was pretty empty. I just went to work and came home. Didn't have my kids at night, So, man, finding this hobby community just improved the quality of my life a bunch. And the relationships I've formed and the people I've met, like I said, will be lifelong friends. The fulfillment I've gotten from the different avenues that this has taken, our fundraiser in May, this thing that I did this week, the random acts of kindness, watching Eric Hecker do his random act of kindness 365 days a year, opening my mailbox and saying, what the hell is this? I didn't order anything. And finding, a Rod Carew and an Eric Davis and a UK card in there, and a note saying this belongs to you, and I'm like, how'd you get my address?
These snakes.
So,
these sneaky snakes will sneaky stuff,
these sneaky snakes are sneaking. But this community, man, it's the best. It is the best. So if you don't see me tweeting a lot or interacting a lot, it's probably because I'm not buying a lot of cards, or I'm pretty busy, and I've got this hang up as I've kept this account being hobby exclusive, and I've strayed a lot. You might have noticed all December long, most of my tweets have been about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yes, which is the best.
But I like to keep the content, for the most part, hobby related, and I haven't been doing a lot of new with the hobby, so there hadn't been a whole lot to tweet lately. But I'm still there. I'm lurking. I'm reading. I read it every day. I try to like and comment, but
everybody poops, so there's always time for Twitter.
But no, Tom, thank you for inviting me on to talk. I've truly enjoyed the hell out of it. Always good to talk to you, my friend. But I'll update everybody tomorrow, or maybe later tonight, on what the final number is. I'll take pictures of what all I get, and then my son's going to help me carry it into school if I can get there in time. So I hope he learns some stuff about how giving makes you feel and how it can be fulfilling. So if he learns something about that and walks away from that, that'll be a win. It'll be a double win. Win getting the help to these people that so desperately need it, and maybe get to teach my son a real life lesson on what it feels like to give rather than receive. So I'm looking forward to that. Great. So thank you for giving me a platform to talk about that tonight, and just for being my friend. And if you're still watching this, you're my friend too. And I love you and appreciate you. So,
And we do get a lot of people that go back and listen to it like
Yeah.
in a podcast way. So,
Yeah.
and it's not about the views for me. It's about, like I said, it's a therapy and just a friendship. And Jay, you can come on anytime. You want to come on anytime you're available. Maybe sometime later we can reunite the Tom Chase show and interview other
Yeah,
people, because we
absolutely.
talked about that. We wanted to interview. This was an idea that you and I had, like, hey, let's interview our hobby friends, and they all said yes, and we never got around to it.
I
So,
know it. I know it.
and it would be fun to do that with you sometimes, to have a triple show, you and me,
Sure.
double teaming some poor fool. And
Yeah.
because we have different ways of going about it. You have your line of questioning and I have my line, and it would just be, I think, it would be more rounded to get to know someone if both of us did it, but no pressure or anything. Because
I'll come back anytime I can, and you'll have me. So
yeah, if you
and
need to dip, you could dip, because I want to talk to the audience without you
okay.
for a second.
Yeah,
And then
sure.
I'll text you and stuff. So,
All right.
all right.
Love you, brother.
I love you, Che. Thank you so
All right.
much. I appreciate
Talk
it.
to you later. All
Yeah.
right.
So, why I wanted to talk without Che, and it's not without Che, it's just he needed to go. Guys, this smile, it's a beautiful smile. People love it. People love my laugh. I'm a big, hearty, open guy. And this show, and why it's so important is I'm going to log off the show and I'm not going to be sad. I'm not going to be down. I'm going to have this smile until I go to bed. It fights off the depression. This is serious and real to me that you guys care so much. 3 people, 4 people stayed on to watch this. That's amazing to me. And it means so much. I'm going to take my glasses off again because I'm getting emotional. You guys mean so much to me. And you help this. Your comments bring more smiles and more fun. And it stays. And I feel it. I feel it for, usually until I have to go to work the next day. Then my soul is sucked straight from my body. But I love you guys. And thank you. The joke or the meme you see is men will do anything to avoid going to therapy. Men will create a YouTube show to avoid going to therapy. Well, that's not true. I do want to go to therapy. It's just about the, insurance and paying for it. But this is free for me. And it's also how I could be a better friend, because like I said, I'm bad at the real, get to know people stuff. I've known my friends for years and years and years, and I don't know some of their fears or their biggest secrets, because it's hard with a family that I grew up with, and not my dad, but my extended family, like my uncles and other stuff, that, the emotions and feeling and all that. And, it was frowned upon. And I'm just here to say, like, it's not frowned upon. I feel so good. And Che is such a wonderful person. If you could only follow one account on Twitter, you just delete me and follow Che, because even if he doesn't tweet a lot, his tweets are so much better than mine. Mine are just dumb, fun, thought vomit, and Che's an actual, like, respectable, thought inducing type of person. And the real reason I wanted him to leave is so he can come back and watch this, so I can get more minutes on my view time. And I'm streaming to Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. I paid the fee. Just want to rack up those hours, just because it's fun, and I want to spread it around, and I want to have this little side project, not to make money, but to find something that I enjoy and do something that I enjoy. And it's just talking to you guys. It's just talking to my friends. If you can't enjoy talking to your friends, I mean, then your life's bad. And I'm glad that I can have this to do that. Make myself socialize, make myself not lie in bed and watch other people do this, and do it myself. And that's all. Next week, Obi-Wan Jabroni. I'm excited because he and I haven't interacted too much on Twitter lately. It was when we first got together, it was all the time. Art, Rockies, Dale Murphy, and then with this coming back again, and yeah, I want to talk to that dude, because amazing stuff. And we got a lot of things similar to talk about. So every guest has been amazing in their own way. Che is special to me in my heart just because of what we've done together and accomplished together. And yeah, it just makes me feel so good. This smile is going to be here for a while. And I have natural resting bitch face. I was told by a coworker's girlfriend that she was so scared of me because I had the worst resting bitch face she'd ever seen in her life. And I'm not like intentionally, it's just my natural face is like a scowl. So that's why it hurts to smile so much because my face is not used to it, but I love it. So, and I love you guys. And we'll see you Sunday. I'm going to have a special show with D Moose after the Broncos game. I think about the same time we started this one, 8:30 Eastern. Then I'm going to have Obi-Wan Jabroni. Super excited about that. And then on the 23rd, I wasn't planning on doing a show, but my buddy Gerald, a wrestling fan and super collector, he's going to move from the Taco Bell basement to a Starbucks basement. He's going to cut some weird promos. And it's going to be a fun Christmas Eve show. I was trying to get his buddies to come and roast him. He's not comfortable being roasted. So Chase Nuts will be the only thing roasting that night. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much. And I'll catch you later. And, Ian Sports Card 1, I think, is Chase. I'm Tom P. Willis on Twitter. Yeah, hit me up anytime. I love you guys. We'll see you next time.